Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to host this panel. Since the inauguration of our APPMC in 2017, the ASEAN panel at APPMC has consistently generated positive feedback from delegates, and it has become a cornerstone of the program. It offers exclusive insight from key industry players across the region, not found anywhere in any other conference and any other places. So this is a very interesting places that we put together industry player and we can meet face to face. Although you may not be able to ask questions because of time, but knowing their face, you can meet up with them later on. But before we move on, I'd like to do a little bit of exercise. I'd like you to use, if you have not scanned the QR code, scan the QR code for Slido, and I'd like to ask a few questions related to ASEAN and to warm up or to get you to participate. And eventually, I hope you can ask questions to help me, because I need more questions to ask them in order to complete the 1 hour session. So if you have scanned the Slido, we can put up the question. First question: would ASEAN gold market become a bigger market than India and Middle East in the next 5 years? The second question is, would it be more advantageous for further market development if the tax structure on gold product movement harmonized in ASEAN? We understand that in the 10 countries in ASEAN, not every country has the same regime on gold product flow. Some countries like Singapore is free movement, and Malaysia is free movement, but some countries are restricted. So the question is to ask whether it will help. I mean, I will expect a lot of people say yes, unless there will be people say no, because they say with this, that advantage me. I'm the people who will be benefited from the disparity. So let me take a poll and see how you feel about it, yes or no. And then the third question is, which is related to the whole morning where we're talking about, can Singapore further develop into an international precious metal trading hub in the next 5 years, which is 2030, is the next stage that the SBM want to achieve. In your gold coin that we have given you to celebrate the 30th anniversary, the slogan say, Forward SBMA 2030. So by 2030, we would like to become a significant global trading hub in Singapore. Is that possible? I'd like to see your view, yes and no. All right, with this, I think we'll start the panel and then we come back to see the result. So thank you. Today we have assembled a substantial panel for today's discussion. Instead of asking each one individually to give a long presentation and then we follow by some short question, I like to ask very specific into each of them on country specific. And so I think we will be, and I also like to open up for Q&A as early as possible. Let me start with the very obvious country, Mr. Khanh. He is a participant of this panel from day one to now, and representing Vietnam, and he is Vice Chairman of the Vietnam Gold Trader Association and was my former colleague to provide some insight into the current Vietnam Bullion flow, policy changes and prospects. As a founding member of Vietnam Gold Trader Association since 1998, Mr. Khanh currently serves as his Vice Chairman. He leads the External Relations Department of the Executive Committee, actively engaging with key stakeholders in Vietnam to advance the deregulation of the gold market. My question to him is, Mr. Khanh, can you give a 3 to 5 minutes summary of the gold market in Vietnam, particularly giving us some color on why Vietnamese, unlike other counterparts in the West, bought local gold bar, which is SJC gold bar, when price was escalating. Investors even must fork out excessive premium of few $100 US per ounce to buy gold recently. Why? Is this trend going to continue?
For Vietnam market, can I update you something? During the last year, 2023, the statistics from World Gold Council and Metal Focus have shown that Vietnam total demand is 55 tons, and in which retail investment was at 40.4 tons, and jewelry consumption at 15.1 tons. So Vietnam physical gold demand, I think was the highest among the Asian gold markets. Indonesia was on the second rank with 45.3 tons, and Thailand was third with 42.1 tons. And in this first 6 months of this year, by our estimate, Vietnam physical gold demand will reach 33 tons. Jewelry consumption is about 7.4 tons, and retail investment at 25.6 tons, marking an increase of 10% on a yearly basis. So we think that for the total of this year, the demand in Vietnam will easily reach 65 to 70 tons. Yeah, the key reason for this increase in demand is that because the demand for retail investment products was very high. I remember when I started working for the World Gold Council nearly 30 years ago with Albert, we have one remark. At that time, retail investment is 70%, and jewelry was 30% of the total gold demand. And why I think in the world, on the global demand, it used to be 30% retail investment and 70% gold jewelry. So Albert told me, that you will see that there will be a change in the next 5 years between because of the opening up of the banking system, the opening up of so-called payment by credit card, payment by so-called online, everything. You will see the change. The role of gold as a retail investment eventually will decrease, while the demand in gold jewelry will increase. But looking at the figures now, 30 years after, we can still see that the retail investment demand is still 70%, and the gold jewelry demand is still 30%. So I think that to answer Albert's question is why the Vietnamese consumer, the Vietnamese public, is still so inclined to buy a gold bar and gold key rings. I think that it's like the key reason when I put on my presentation is the sharp decrease in saving interest rate. Right now, the interest rate in Vietnam is decreased down to 5% from the high period is 10%. So on one side is meaning that the decrease in interest rate, meaning that the people are a little bit disappointed in their investment in so-called saving banks. And besides, the inflation rate is high, is reaching 4%. And the Vietnamese dong devaluation versus the US dollar is nearly 5%. So you see that eventually the so-called those factors are nullifying the banking interest. And on the other side, gold have increased by value in Vietnamese dong nearly 20% from the beginning until now. We are not until take into account the last price decrease, but gold has become now a major channel of investment in Vietnam, gold bar actually. So lately, starting from April 24, so for the last month, the central bank, the SBV, have so-called organized a 9 gold auction session, and then have provided 48,500 SGC TR bar, equivalent to 1.8 ton of 24 karat gold to the retail consumer, nearly 2 tons. And starting from last week, meaning from June the 3rd, the central bank also have supplied SGC TR bar at a lower premium, meaning that they have reduced the premium from $600 per ounce down to $150 per ounce. And then we have seen consumers queuing in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi to buy the gold bar because for so many years they have been obliged to buy gold bar at very high premium. So now when the premium have been reduced, they have been queuing in the street, in the sun, in the rain, to buy gold bar. And then my reports from my second partner have said that in 1 week, the central bank, through the commercial banks and the gold company, have sold nearly 2 tons in 1 week, meaning that with the auction is 2 tons in 1 month, but last week is 2 tons in 1 week. And as I was talking to you now, so-called the sale is still on, and people in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi are still queuing on the street to buy gold bar. Yeah. So on the gold market perspective, what we are doing now, so the Vietnam Gold Traders Association, with the support of the World Gold Council, is currently working with the Central Bank Forex Department and other relevant governmental agencies on the following policy changes: a total revision and eventual replacement of the Decree 24 on gold management policy, a complete liberalization by the central bank on all production and sales activities of physical gold products, and lastly, the setup of a national gold exchange under the management and the supervision of the SBV, based on the Shanghai Gold Exchange model. Because central bank have asked World Gold Council, China, meaning my colleagues, Roland and Jerry, have helped me to get all the information on the liberalization of the China market and on the setup of the Shanghai Gold Exchange, because they think that Vietnam political and economic system is very close to China. Thank you.
Mr. Khanh, thank you. I think Vietnam's situation is very unique, and the people in Vietnam spending $600 premium to buy gold bar is also cannot be understand. But it still continue, and with that price drop to 150, which is still a lot of money, and people are still queuing up. That shows that this cannot be last forever. It must be harmonized with the rest of the region. Otherwise, the draining of the US dollar out of the country will continue. And well, we hope that your effort with the SPV will come to fruition sooner than later. And with that, I will ask you a follow-up question later on. With that, I'd like to move to Malaysia and let Ermin give us a little bit of color about Malaysia. I mean, Ermin is a long-time friend of APPMC. He's the advisor of the Federation of Goldsmiths Jewelry Association, and which is a central body coordinating the gold and gem trade. Ermin has been the executive director of the POCON, is the executive director of POCON since its listing on Bursa Malaysia. And he has been in many conference circuits to talk about Malaysia. I saw him recently in Taiwan. And I'd like to ask you a question that the Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister, not new, almost more than 1 year, Mr. Anwar Ibrahim is trying very hard to inject new thinking to revive the economy. Recently, he announced something which is quite advanced. He announced that Malaysia can become the key hub to supply power chips to electric vehicle, etc. So he is really wanting to pump up the economy. Does he have anything to do with the jewelry industry or the gold industry? Can you give us a little bit of update about Malaysian market as well?
Yeah, just to answer your question directly now for regarding our not so new 2-year-old PM, Anwar Ibrahim. He actually bring quite some new changes to the whole political scene. He's actually selling Malaysia, traveling all over the world, trying to bring investment coming into Malaysia. So far, so good in terms of figures, but we are yet to see the real results yet. And as far as for gold and the jewelry industry, we haven't seen any real direct boost from him. But in my presentation later, probably I will probably elaborate a little bit more on this. Yeah, my topic today is actually to bring some updates and on the Malaysia gold and jewelry industry. My topic will probably cover briefly on the gold jewelry demand for the 2023 and a little bit on 2024. And of course, I will talk a little bit on the gold export. And to gauge what exactly happened on the ground, I will mention, probably get 2 examples, show the actual figures of 2 listed retailers under this industrial performance. And before I end also, I will mention briefly the current issues facing the industry and the opportunities. This is a slide showing the total gold demand for the past 4 years. Actually, there is not much changes, hovering around slightly below 20 tons. In total, in terms of gold jewelry demand, as well as the physical gold investment demand. I have to mention here is, this is the figures I quote from MetaFocus, and it actually refers the new gold. So we are actually not taking in the so-called recycled gold into the picture. So if you are familiar with the gold jewelry trade, consumer normally bring in some old gold to exchange for new gold. So if you were to take this into account, the total gold demand should be higher than the figures that I show here. I would estimate probably in the region of 25 to 30 tons. We'll go, this next slide is the gold jewelry market. The one on the left is actually including the values of this gem set jewelry. So this is total sales in RM. I actually hijacked these 2 slides from a banker. So he actually quoted from a survey company, very hard to pronounce the name, Statistica. So the total sales of a gold jewelry market estimated was about 5.5 or 5.6 billion ringgit. In terms of US dollar, probably about 1.2, 1.3. This including the gem set, but excluding the physical. So it's plainly the finished gold jewelry and for plain gold as well as the gem set. The one on the right, it is probably quite interesting. We see the emergence of this online trading in this jewelry market in Malaysia, especially during the pandemic. It all started during the pandemic, 2019, 2018 era. And it shows a very slow increase in percentage of this online sales as compared to the physical store sales. And it's estimated that by 2026, it probably will come to about 20 or 20, slightly more than 20% of this total jewelry sales in Malaysia market.
I mean, before you move on,
Yep.
the gem set and the gold jewelry, what's the percentage from your estimate?
It's a great question. We used to, before the COVID, I used to estimate probably about 80-20. 80 for the plain gold. The gem set, about 20%. But after the pandemic, we see a big shift towards the yellow gold. And the gem set, especially the diamond jewelry, has dropped quite significantly. At the moment, I would estimate probably 90-10.
90, yeah.
90 in favor of the yellow gold, yeah.
Same to Singapore market. I'm sure.
Yeah, we are quite similar.
Yeah.
So I have to mention a little bit on this gold jewelry export because Malaysia, as you know, we export quite a fair bit of finished gold jewelry, mainly to the Middle East market. And actually, if the figures show, we actually export more than what we consume locally, in the region of about 30 tons. As I mentioned, mainly to the Middle East market, as well as quite a fair bit to Singapore, more for transshipment, yeah. In fact, I got it from the statistical department. For the first 2 months of this year, we export about 1.3 billion ringgit. So roughly convert to, in terms of tonnage, probably about 5 tons. So annualized, I think this year we'll probably export about 30 tons as well. Slight increase compared to the year-on-year, about 18%. So I will show you some financials of two so-called the biggest retail chain store in Malaysia. Tommy and Pokong. Tommy, the big boss, is here as well. And because I always believe this will actually reflects what exactly happened to the gold jewelry scene in Malaysia. Because we can actually see the official figures. It's a listed company, so the figures should be it has to be accurate. So, yeah, the two stores, the two companies that I mentioned here is Tommy and Pokong. There are two listed retail chain stores in Malaysia. Tommy has about 52, I hope the figure is correct, 52 stores nationwide. And Pokong has 91 actually, the latest figure is 91 stores nationwide. This is the last 3 years of financials for Tommy. As you see, in terms of revenue, there is a slight drop in 2023. But if you look at the first quarter of 2024, they were actually doing very well. Year-on-year increase of almost 35%. And of course, the profit more than 70%. So annualized, I would anticipate the 2024 result will be equally, better than the previous year. For Pokong, the financial year is slightly different. It is from actually August to July. But anyway, the financial year 2021 to 2023, we still see some growth. And the half year ended 2024 January, the revenue of about almost close to 800 million, annualized to about 1.6 billion. That means 2024, the financial year, we should also see some growth as well. So the high gold price didn't really dampen, it has some dampening effect on the consumer market. But at the same time, we did see some growth in the purchase of this physical gold for investment. The two current issues and opportunities. I would like to mention two issues that are troubling our industry at the moment. One is the high value goods tax, which actually it was meant to be a luxury tax, which was announced by our new Prime Minister in February last year, and supposed to be implemented last month, 2024, but it was delayed, and it was said that they will bring it again to the Parliament for debate, and if approved, we will be, probably before the end of the year. But they face a lot of opposition from the affected industry, because jewelry is one of the targeted industry under this high value goods tax. So as of now, there is no clear indication of introduction of this new so-called new law. We hope it will be either delayed or postponed indefinitely. The second issue is the e-invoicing, or what do we call it? That means it's not only applied to B2B, it's B2C as well. This is to be implemented in August this year for companies with turnover of 10 million ringgit. So the listed company will be affected. And they will be introduced in tier by tier, depending on your turnover, but it will be in full implementation by 2026. We reckon this introduction will actually dampen the consumer demand, because imagine when you buy jewelry, you have to give your TIN or tax identification number, if not your ID. And for our industry, actually, it has to be done real time. We have to, when we key in the invoice, we have to know all these tax details of the consumer. For certain industry, you are allowed for consolidated invoicing. That means you can keep it 1 week or even 1 month before you submit to the Inland Revenue Department. So this introduction will definitely dampen the consumer purchase of this high-value item, especially jewelry. But we hope they will give us some leeway, and instead of real time, at least we can, do it either by 1 week, weekly, or monthly basis. The second so-called good news is the government announced last month the introduction of account 3 in this EPF withdrawal. EPF is an employment provident fund. It is some kind of retirement scheme, the retirement fund for all the employed personnel in the country. So they have account 1, account 2. Now they introduce another account 3. Basically, it's to transfer a certain amount of money from your saving in account 2 to account 3, and you can actually apply to withdraw it for your whatever needs.
Investment.
Yeah. And it's estimated that if everybody were to do it, 57 billion of ringgit will flow into the market. But we reckon not everybody will actually withdraw and buy. So
don't have too much optimism.
So it's estimated probably another 20 or 30 billions will come into the market. So the second opportunity or good news is the pay rise announced by the Prime Minister in the Labor Day. They are going to give the civil servants, which is quite a big percentage of our workforce, a salary hike of 13%. 13, 1 3, wow, which means an extra about almost 13 billion coming into the market. So both of these so-called news are actually, it's a catalyst or consumption booster for our industry. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the salary increase is the most promising. The rest of it you have to fight. Well, and then we'll come to Thailand, and Khun Golf has been. It's the managing director of MTS Gold Group, and MTS has established in 1952, one of the oldest Thai companies, 70 years old. And I'd like to ask Khun Golf that the gold bullion industry have made a remark in last year, September, at the Gold Forum that Thailand would also become an ASEAN gold trading hub, complementing Singapore further develop into an international hub. Can you give us some update from the Thai Gold Trader Association points of view that what have been planning to do or what has been done, and maybe also give us a little bit of a market update about Thailand? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I will be updating the bullion market. I think in Thailand we have a quite a significant change, especially after COVID, and there has been a big change. But our changes mostly is not so much in the volume size, but a lot of things that actually align with what people are talking this morning, which is about ESG, which is about carbon, which is about AML, source of gold, all this. I think we are one of the very first country in Southeast Asia who really, the government are trying to push this for the market. But as you can see, maybe a quick recap on the Thai market. So I think very similar to other countries. Last year is quite a good year, and this year when the gold price in Thailand reached, I think, all-time high, like almost every day, it is the first time, actually since I started working, that when the gold price go up, people are buying. Actually, at this price, people should be selling, but this price, everybody is buying. Yeah, it's like, and it's the same. People are actually fighting to buy. And I think now the local consumer is very smart, you know, because when they heard some news, they straight away run to the gold shop. I remember, I think this year there was I think it's Israel and Iran, right? The missile. And now every time the missile shoot, always Sunday. I think they planned it. So when they shoot on Sunday, Monday morning, all the gold shop is queued with people. Actually, no, all the gold shop is queued on Sunday, not Monday. Because people know that Monday the price will go up. Very smart now. So Sunday now, like when there's a news, the gold shop will be filled with people. So I think with all the price and the fluctuation, the market, especially the bullion market has been very robust in Thailand. And especially now, a lot of things is going digitalized. So the Thai market become very complex. On the other hand, on the jewelry side, I think after the price, I think this year the price have increased almost in Thai baht term is 25%. From I was remember about 15 to 18%. I was talking about the price in Thai baht, and then all of a sudden it go up very fast. So usually in Thailand, most of the gold shop will sell two products. I think similar to the jewelry and the bullion. Before, maybe the portion of the jewelry is more than the bullion. But as you can see with the all-time high in gold price, and especially now the Thai stock market is not doing very well. The real estate, the bank is not giving out the loan because in Thailand we have a very high, they call household debt compared to GDP. So that's why now the central bank are trying to control more housing loan and consumer credit loan. So it gives less liquidity in the market. And because of that, the stock market, I think this year we reached almost like a 6-year low. All the stock, like in Vietnam, I think all the other countries reach all-time high, go up. But in Thailand, we go down for this year. So that's why gold is the only asset actually for Thai people who can buy and can, gain the capital gain, especially with such a good yield. So it become very popular in the market. So back to the market for the Thai gold. I think the trend this year that we want to discuss a little bit is the trend, like I say, for the factory in Thailand now. A lot of us are trying to become more, sustainable and have a ESG. So meaning that for the factory or even the gold industry and the other jewelry industry, everybody are applying for the called Responsible Jewelry Council or RJC. This is the Thai gold price. As you can see that, in this year, we almost reached the all-time high. This is the whole year graph. In the beginning was 33,400 baht per baht gram, and all-time high is 42,000. And I still remember that at 42,000, there is still people queuing at the shop just to buy, whether in the Yaowarat, Chinatown area or every other area. So it's a very strange phenomena this year that people are still buying. So these are the key factor and trend this year. Especially, I think maybe we are a little bit different from the Thai market. There was some tax that the government are trying to implement, and the central bank are trying to do some new project. Maybe you have heard that, they might enable the banks to be able to do gold, but that is still in discussion. But the major trend that you can see now that the government are trying to do is this four. So it's sustainable and responsibility, ethic, and more innovation technology, also about licensing. So maybe I go with the first one for the sustainable and responsibility. So if you can see on the next slide that in Thailand, a lot of people now are, I think, going to the trend of being green. So especially in the jewelry market now, people are trying to do more sustainable and do more green energy. So they implement solar energy, do more ESG, and all this because the government, I think, will also started to plan in 2026 to implement tax on all the industrial shop, and especially on the environment. And the next one, if you go, you can see that in Southeast Asia, especially, this is the so-called RJC applicants. In Thailand, the trend, we are increasing every year. So this is just 2 years. So in the whole Southeast Asia, the member of RJC who got approved and become, because maybe I go backtrack a little bit about the RJC. So RJC stands for Responsible Jewelry Council. So meaning that now the trend is if you want to send goods to Europe, America, or anywhere, they want to be able to track the so-called the source and whether it's from the responsible sourcing or whichever. And I think Thailand, we are one of the major ones who almost all the factories now are applying for this.
Because we are export oriented.
Yeah, because we are export. And I think our major market is the Europe and America. So, and you can see that the trend now is not just about the carbon stuff that is coming in 2026. It's also about the responsible. So I think almost all the gold factory, jewelry factory, gem factory now in Thailand, if you ask them, everybody are talking, which is a good and a bad. The good is we become, more global to the responsible side. And of course, us as a corporate is, of course, more audit, more costs.
Higher cost.
And still get the same profit. But again, I guess it's a trend of the market that is going. So, and I think the number of this member, even if you compare, it will keep going up more and more, because as more government are trying to implement, they are trying to check on your, I think more on the sourcing. And the next one, the government are trying to come on the carbon credit and all this. Okay? Yep. Next one. So the next trend, other than the responsible and the social, will be the digitalization for the trading. So of course now for gold in Thailand, we have about four factors. As you can see that the beginning of the very, very beginning is called OTC trading, which is, over the counter, we buy gold. And then we have more on the online side. We do online buy, sell of the bullion. And now even for the jewelry, you can see that the trend for online purchase for the jewelry is very, very big growth in the market, especially the consumer. Like now you can see some shop, they call influencer, trying to sell gold in TikTok. Yeah, and it is very common now. And the third one, which is I think we have been in Thailand, is exchange traded, which is those gold futures, all this in the exchange trade. And I think the trend that is coming on the third trend that we are going is the digital trading. So digital trading meaning that there's an online platform that people can go in to buy and sell gold on the platform, which is whether it's a gold saving, gold trading, and gold redemption, which is now, I think, getting popular. Almost all platform now, like the one we did, maybe I can show you, the one we did with the Krung Thai Bank, which has almost 40 million users to do trading in the government app called Pao Tang, has a very big success. And it become a very big trend in Thailand that a lot of people now, the government are trying to encourage people to buy gold through the government platform. And also now, not just the bank who are trying to do, also maybe the next one, the next slide, we also now have the implementation with the security house. All of the security house now, like I mentioned, that sometimes they only offer stocks, but they want an alternative because Thai stock is not doing well. So a lot of the security house now are trying to do more online trading through Go platform as well. And the last trend is again the licensings. So now a lot of if you go online now, actually a lot of them non-licensed. So now a lot of the government now are trying to come up like for Go digital trade, they will try to offer some license and trading or this. So I think become AML regulated is also very important now. Especially for example now, if you want to buy Go in Thailand, I think very similar to Malaysia. In Thailand, we have this thing called NDID, which is an identity of a Thai person. So when you want to buy Go, you have to take the ID and you do a dip chip. There's a chip in all the Thai ID to check whether one, is this card real? Two, if he is so-called AML or not. If you AML, you cannot sell to this person anymore. And now in Thailand, it's very, very, very strict, and it's almost real time. So when you buy, you have to check the AML and source of fund, everything. So a lot of things last few years has been a lot of compliance, a lot of sustainability and social transparency. And I think the Thai market government are trying to move towards that direction. But of course, as the market grow and it grow more internationalized, I think we will integrate all this together. And then for whether it's a bullion or the jewelry.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Khun Gof. Now we come to a new market, new kids on the block. I mean, last year, Miss Nana came to attend our conference, and I saw her at the back of the audience. And this year, I have the honor to invite her to come to talk about Laos market. She is actually a founder and CEO of Fina FinTech, and based in Laos. And she will share with us the Laos Go market. And Ms. Nana is a Fulbright scholar in finance. Nana mastery extends to the intricate domain of the Laos Go market, which she is personally involved in looking into opportunity in opening up Laos Go market. I now invite her to talk about Laos. I mean, something specific is Laos is a landlocked country. However, you have quite a lot of resources. With the opening of the country and your direct connection with China with high-speed rail, and of course with the usual land connection with the rest of the ASEAN country. And what would you see Laos' role in the ASEAN Go market or in that peninsula? What's the Laos' role when you come on board to start developing the Go market? What is it in your mind and what is it in the government mind? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Mr. Albert, for having me, and thanks APPMC for having us this year to share a little bit about what's happening in Laos. So basically, before we start, just a little bit about myself. As Mr. Albert mentioned, I was pretty much involved. I was a banker for almost 20 years. Also, I run and I invest in tech startups for more than 10 years. So, from the perspective of learning what's going on in Go markets in different countries, I think that is super fascinating for us, including my, investor, to really look into how we can reform this Go market in Laos. Just a little bit about who we are. So, we come from a local group called PTL Holding. We operate different businesses for under trading. We also have logistics, invest in infrastructure, and also in technology and finance sector. The most important thing is our group focus on strategic investment to transform the Laos economy, and we look into long-term values that we create. Okay, so some of the flagship projects that we have include, we have petrol company. We do petrol trading, which is the second largest petroleum company in Laos at the moment. We also run Vientiane Logistic Park, dry port, and also a few other projects, including we are building up Bullion Bank project, which I have to thank all the, like a lot of participants here, including Mr. Albert, including Kun Gaw for like mentoring me over the last year to build this project, as well as we are building a fintech company called FINA Fintech to facilitate and to provide digital financial services to be a cross-cutting like platform to support the relevant financial services that we provide as well. So this is our management team. The group is led by Mr. Chanton. He's a serial entrepreneur who has been doing business for more than 25 years. Apart from that, our chairman is also the advisor to the Prime Minister for 4 consecutive administrations already. And it is the key team. You'll bump into them, you know, during this event. So please feel free to say hi to them. So we have heard, you know, a bit about the markets on the stage, and also there is a little, you know, like information that we kind of gathered about our surrounding countries here. So, you know, like when we talk about Laos, actually you will ask like, oh, you know, what's going on in Laos? Tell me more about it. So I think I would like to use this occasion to share a little bit about what we do and what Laos has. So let's deep dive into the opportunities and challenges that we have. But first of all, let's look into the opportunity. The first opportunity that we see is we happen to be the 3rd largest gold producer in Southeast Asia. And we are number 6 in Asia. We produce around 9 to 12 tons of gold per year. And apart from that, I think a lot of, you know, the speakers this morning, including our panelists, talked about the growing demand for gold, especially for household and domestic consumption already. Another interesting opportunity that we have in this country is that the government has already put, you know, sustainable development in mining development and gold and precious metals management into the national agenda. So when we do business or doing any investment relevant to this sector, sustainable development is a key element that we have to consider ESG there for this country as well. So apart from that, if we look into the challenges, I don't think, you know, being a landlocked country is that big challenge for us because, you know, we have this logistics map. But the real challenge that we have is actually we only export like the doré out of the country. We do not have any domestic refinery, which this refinery is not just domestic refinery, but we don't have any international standard there. So it really, you know, limits us from doing things without proper infrastructure as well as standardization. And another challenge that we want to point out is, since our financial sector is quite immature, so the options for the investment is not so many there. Like we wish to do several things like in other countries, but the options are not there yet, including the investment of gold. So again, I just would like to emphasize the ecosystems that we currently have. Although we have 42 commercial banks, we have 9 you know, licensed import-export companies of like gold and precious metals products. But if you look into the left-hand side and the right-hand side, the dot connection between gold reserve, gold production, and the financial sector players are not there yet. So this is something we need to bridge the gap. So looking into that deeply a little bit, in this sector, we are governed by a few ministries, include Ministry of Energy and Mines, Bank of Laos, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, and some of them are also with us today. So please feel free to say hi to the regulators who come to us. They are over there somewhere. So basically, I just want to recap on this regulatory landscape a bit. Even though it's new, so being new, being immature from our perspective is, since we learned the commercial aspect from other countries, I think the business case is there. So we are very fortunate that even though some of the regulations are not there, but we got opportunity to work very closely with the regulators and to bring them to understand what's going on in the regional market, in the international market, so that we are on the same page between private, sector as well as public sector. I think the conference like this for Laos, it really creates values. So with the overview that I have shared with you, our vision is to transform the gold industry in Laos in the short term. So in the medium term, how do we do by that? So that's why we are building this Bullion Bank project in short term this year. And in the medium term, we would like to focus on the pain point that we have, which is on the certification and standardization. So we would like to bring the gold standard and also certification to this market. And in the long run, we would like to also contribute to make Laos as a small hub to support the regional hub and for us to scale. So we are actually, I think from Laos perspective, we are a big believer of modernizing, and reforming the Laos gold market by bringing world-class bullion products and services, bridging the gap between Laos and international market, and leveraging regional expertise. I think the most important thing is to put Laos on the map of this industry, particularly in the region first, then to the world. Thanks, Ms. Albert.
Well, I think this is the first time we hear anything about Laos in a detailed manner. And I think we have to give a round of applause to them. And in the audience today, we have a lot of Laos market stakeholder in the room, and they are willing to talk to you. I think with the idea of us, Singapore, being developed as a hub for the Asia Pacific, we need a lot of other so-called sub-hub, or is a hub and spoke theory that we need, for example, Thailand to bring together the people surround them. And for Laos, we also want them to bring together the country and the region around them, so that it eventually form a network of connections. What Ms. Nana's hope is very simple. They want to connect with us, the rest of the ASEAN countries who already have experience in the gold market, and would provide the same to them and help them to develop an ecosystem in Laos. Laos, naturally has a supply of 12 tons of raw materials, and they like to be refined and processed locally before they export. And likewise, the government of the country is willing to provide a transparent and in line with, or on par with the regional, that the product, the quality, and the pricing in line with the other ASEAN country. And it's also the dream of us wanting the ASEAN market, eventually one day it will be harmonized. And I think that is what makes this initiative of building the total ecosystem eventually a harmonized ASEAN gold market. With that, I'd like to come back to Mr. Khanh. Mr. Khanh, I missed one question, which I think the audience also I'd love to hear a little bit from you. Is you talk about the SPV action.
Yes.
You talk about the item that they want to do.
Yes.
Timeline.
Yes.
What is the timeline?
Right now they have, the timeline is that they will try to sell the gold directly from the banks to from the central bank to the commercial banks to the public.
Yep.
I think that for another 3 to 4 weeks, meaning that the timeline to the end of June. Mm. But we hope that by July, they will allow the gold company to import directly, meaning that they will grant the import quota because we have so-called the media and the consumer are saying that the central bank duty is not to sell gold, not to import gold and to sell gold and distribute gold to the commercial bank or the so-called gold company, right? And the central bank eventually duty is to grant the regulation, or regulation is to grant to the quota, import quota to the
to regulate the inflow.
Yeah, to the gold company and to the banks only. But this is why we are trying to revise the policy. So we hope that by July, latest August, we can revise and change the policy.
Okay.
And the new policy will not, so-called the central bank will not be involved in the granting of a quota, gold import quota anymore. And
but through the importer, the official
yeah, this will be taken charge, I think that by the Ministry of Trade and Industry, meaning, because like any other country, like last time they come to Singapore, we see that every other country or other market is from, this is done by the Ministry of Trade. Yes.
All right. So, Ms. Nana, the Vietnam market has a premium of few $100 and 150 recently. How is Laos? I mean, you are very close to them, and you more or less are using the same supply chain. So, is that the phenomenon in Laos as well?
The demand is really high in Laos. So it's the same. And also, okay, so Laos market is very interesting, Mr. Albert. Every morning, Lao people would look into the price from Thailand, because we operate under 3 currencies. Laotian kip, which is our local currency, US dollar, and also, Thai baht. That's our official currencies being used in the market. So every morning, they will look into how Khun Gof quote the price. Okay. So they know that, today it is. And then they will go look into different, like Goldsmiths, when they quote the price. And of course, the trend is that people still buying even though the price goes up. So to answer you, yes, the trend is similar. Another thing that we see, the similarities, interesting part is we also see the cross-border trade of the gold, which partly I have to say that, why we are doing this project that we are doing, because we want to bring back the transparency. We want to use the technology to support this transparency. So we still see those, unofficial activities of like the border trade happening there between Laos and Vietnam.
So ladies and gentlemen, the gold market surge recently was accounted by 2 major reasons. One is the central bank buying. The other is the Asian, the China and the Southeast Asian people buying physical gold, even with a premium of $400 or anything less. So the 2 driving force recently in the gold market is the central bank buying and the huge physical gold buying from Asian investors. That has sold up the market. We have the Slido result. This is the first question. Yes, it's on 35, so it will not be bigger than Middle East, and that's for sure, yes. Second question, would it be more advantageous? I think most of people say yes. I mean, this is a natural yes. I mean, nobody will say no. And number 3, natural yes. Yes, we can. So together, we can. Let us put a hand together to thanks for the panel for their contribution today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks to all the expert speakers, and thanks to all of you for your presence and participation. We had a very enriching morning session.